Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever Subclass showcase here at the Blue Cottage. Today, I have my favorite power gamer, Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Who has agreed to come on here and talk about his absolute favorite subclasses from Sarsen Games, Oracles of Aughra.
I have a list of over probably 28. I don't know how many subclasses are in here.
Did you mark through some up here?
I circled the ones that we agreed upon, and then I counted all the other ones, and we have 20 extras.
Needless to say, Mitchell's very excited about this. So, without
Using
further ado, yeah, he's very anxious on looking for ways to break my encounters that I throw at him.
You always use the word break.
I do. I use the word break because that's what it feels like.
Freedom is what I like to call it. Freedom.
All right, man. Starting with number 1 on our list, we have
number 1.
the Druid of Sand, Circle of Sand, right?
Sand.
Let me find that. So let's talk about.
Do you want to read what it says about the Circle of Sands?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I was saying, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure, I'll read it.
Your
Yeah,
voice is much prettier than mine.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have an amazing voice, Mitchell. I like your voice.
See what he did there?
It's true though.
He lowered it and made it cute.
All right, so followers of the Circle of Sands live in a hostile, volatile land. Through the blistering heat and hidden dangers that lay beneath the dunes, they have thrived. They do this by focusing on the life that hangs on the great sandy expanses of their home. They learn the land, mastering both the terrain and the beasts that dwell within it. Tribes tend to anchor themselves to the small oases that dot the desert, and the druids of the Circle of Sands are often found on long, solitary journeys between these groups. Tell me how you broke it with Rock Surfer. I know you've done it.
Okay, so Rock Surfer. As a druid of the Circle of Sand, you are well accustomed to traveling over various terrains and using it to your advantage. Starting at 2nd level, your movement speed is unaffected by difficult terrain. Meaning, difficult terrain is something you want to step on. Okay, and the reason that is because additionally, you gain 5 feet of extra movement for every 5 feet of difficult terrain you pass through. That means when you move on difficult terrain, that's 0 movement. You lose no movement, endless movement, not breaking the game. You can skate around in you'll run out of things to do.
You're right.
You lose reasons to move, but you can get wherever you want on difficult terrain. It is your oasis. Sand Druid.
As a dungeon master, because of the way this reads,
He hates it already.
what I think is...
Stack a monk on that.
See, I'm just going to go ahead and say, from a DM standpoint, though, I would say that's an extra dash. That's a free dash. That's how I would interpret that as a DM.
That's still
in order to, yeah, it's still a lot of movement. You're not wrong.
For nothing. Yeah.
You are not wrong.
That you are now the god of.
All right, so then we've got the Rubble Eruption.
Yep.
Which, at 2nd level onwards, you learn to imbue your spells, rubble, and rocks from earth beneath you. You can basically create cover. So it says allows as a bonus action, you can mold a 5-foot area of difficult terrain you can see within 90 feet of you into a pillar of organic matter that creates partial cover. And you can do this a number of times equal to proficiency modifier. I really like that one. That one is not overpowered, and it's a really cool way of using the terrain to your advantage, especially if you're playing a ranged character.
Oh, you're talking about it's basically you are earthbending.
Yeah, absolutely.
And creating spots on your ranged spell attacks deal bludgeoning damage equal to your proficiency modifier.
Yeah.
You did say that?
I saw that. Yeah, I skipped.
Did you say it?
I didn't say that. I
You
glanced
said it
over.
out loud because it's power gaming. This damage is magical, but not reduced by resistance or immunities.
So, so 2nd level onwards, not only can you create cover, but you learn how to imbue your spells and rubble with rubble and rocks from the earth beneath you. Your ranged spell attacks deal an extra bludgeoning damage that's equal to your proficiency modifier. So that's
awesome.
not silly. Yeah, it's just a little
And
extra.
it's just a ranged spell attack, so it's not like you're getting multiple. It's just one moment with a little bit extra bludgeoning.
Yeah. Now the tricky part about that is that as a druid, you don't have a whole lot of ranged spell attacks, especially not cantrips. I think you got now Magic Stone would be really good with that though. 6th level onwards, you further embody the desert and the biome of your homeland. You gain 10 feet of tremor sense and a burrowing speed of 10 feet. You can only burrow through substances such as stone, clay, sand, and other earthly matter unhindered.
Limitations.
You're right. To use your burrowing speed through non-organic material, you must pass through a strength check. with a DC determined by. So you can still do that, but you have to do a strength check, or else you just get stuck.
And
Additionally, you have learned to subconsciously turn the land against your foes as they traverse it. From level 6 onwards, all enemies within 30 feet of you that walk on difficult terrain take 1d4 bludgeoning damage for each 5 feet of movement they travel over it. This damage is magical for the sake of resistances. So basically, it's like a mini spike growth that surrounds you.
And again, your party will hate you.
That is true.
But you will have a lot of fun.
I'm sold. All right, we're sold on it. We're sold on it. I get your point now.
Have a group of range builds with me. I would hate to be a melee character with this person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would hate them.
And here's the other thing.
Pair with Stillness Barbarian,
Flying monsters. Ruined. It's over. Game over for you.
This is why we do not like him.
So the next one, we're going to the god of the buried, Marok. We're going to go to the Ossuary Warlock. You failed your otherworldly patron that gave you power and magic, but Marok raised you from the ground when you failed your first master and gave you new meaning.
Grab my ass.
Since binding yourself to Marok, there is a power struggle of ownership over your soul, a terrible and fantastical clash of two cosmic powers, fighting for influence and ownership of your very being. You are a pawn in their game, and must tread the thin, dangerous line between them to find a way to reclaim yourself from your old patron's lingering influence and Marok's demands. That's dope.
Isn't it?
I didn't read that before. That's rad.
You failed the first time. Now you're at the whims of the one who said, get up. You don't have a choice. He has full control. And we'll get into it, but I picked this one because this makes you get involved. Well, this is pure. I picked this. This is the top 5 for roleplay.
For roleplay.
I like this because it forces the party to do something for you, for your god. Otherwise, he punishes you and says, "I will bury you again. I brought you. I can put you back.
I brought you into this world. I'll take you out."
And you're gonna see he gives a lot, and it's fun. But he taketh.
Awesome. Let's jump into it. At first level, Tomb Dweller. You gain dark vision. If you already have it, you gain superior dark vision, which makes you have a dark vision up to 120 feet.
So I guess that's if you pick like a race that has dark vision or something like that.
Additionally, you gain tremor sense when blinded. In magical darkness or in any other environment that would reduce visibility or count as heavily obscured.
So I love that wording. It literally says the second you can't see,
you got tremor sense.
Not just only when you're in darkness, like a limitation. It's you can't see, tremor sense.
That's cool. I like that too because it's not like being able to see through the darkness or see through. It's not the devil's sight that the other warlocks get. It's more of it's kind of like blind fighting.
I think I like this because Tomb Dweller, it's the reminder from your god that ground you stand on might be the ground I put you in.
That's rad.
He wants you to feel that ground.
Okay.
So I love that.
All right.
Tie-in.
Pact of the Tomb. At 3rd level, you gain access to a unique pact, the Pact of the Tomb. Once a month, Marok grants you a vision that reveals the exact location of a forgotten, abandoned, or unknown tomb. This tomb is located somewhere close to where the vision takes place and is usually between 1 to 4 days travel in any given direction. Until your next vision, you have a magical tether to the tomb and are aware of the exact direction and rough distance. If you travel to the tomb and claim it in Marok's name with a ritual, offering, or sacrifice, Marok will reward you with a temporary ability that lasts until your next vision or a permanent material boon. Roll a d6 to determine your reward.
Gives you something, it gives us something.
That's cool.
And you don't have to let it happen. Make the warlock go. Because we gotta go raid his crypt.
So what I like about that, what I really enjoy about that is because from a DM perspective, especially DMs that are very busy or DMs like myself who are running 3 campaigns, some days I might slack and I may not have time to prep. But this gives you an option. Like this gives you, if you as a DM go ahead and prep these little encounters out ahead of time,
just have
then if you just if you're having a really slow session or if you just didn't have time to really prep, you can say, okay, well let's just send our little Marok Pact Warlock to let's send him to the tomb.
Night, Yeah. Little panic. Oh guys, we gotta go. I saw this crypt. If we don't get there, he's gonna.
This is where like there's a cost.
All right, so look at the bad. Yeah.
Yeah, if you do not claim the tomb in the vision, Marok uses the next long rest you take to inflict short-term madness. All madness is removed after claiming a tomb from a vision. So that would give the DM an opportunity to essentially look at the short-term madness options and give you one of those. All right, let's move on to Champion of Darkness. Starting at 6th level, when a creature within 5 feet hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to harrow their sight. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw using your spellcasting DC, or they become blinded for up to 1 minute. They repeat the save at the end of each of their turns. You can use this a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. Ooh, that's cool.
Nice little feature to get at 6th that you can do without spending any spells. You don't have to do any darkness.
That's
Blind.
good.
For a warlock, I guess it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean it's just a fun little reaction.
Yeah.
You know, it's just especially as a warlock because it's a reaction that doesn't expend your spell slots. And as a warlock, you're limited on your spell slots.
And you get advantage on things against blinded, like if you attack a blinded creature?
Yeah.
Yeah, so advantage on the attack?
Yeah, if a creature's blind, you get advantage on the attack. Yeah.
Enough said. 10 rounds.
Yeah, if anybody here can infuriate me about the way that they'll make that work, it's you.
Thank you.
You talked about this earlier. You talked about this one earlier. We're moving on to the Tundra Cleric now.
Oh, this is the one that makes the sand druid pop.
Some of the gods other than Tundras claim to have the domain of Tundra in their portfolio.
That is the female version of portfolio.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Masculine portfolio. Yeah.
Some gods other than Tundras claim to have the domain of Tundra in their portfolio, but their divinity only stretches to the fringes of this great space. Tundras lies at the heart of the divine domain and very rarely entertains the notions that the gods of the winter and frost are equal. Tundra sends their clerics to do one thing: protect and preserve their memories and rituals from fading to forces of ill intent and the ruins of time. They are usually tasked with enduring many long years alone or in the company of a few temple guards, so races with long lifespans are often favored.
Like ice, they've frozen in time.
That's cool. You get some Tundra domain spells, which are all ice. Most of them are ice inspired.
Yeah, a lot of clerics get those domain spells.
Yep, you get the bonus cantrip of Ray of Frost and Frostbite, which is nice. I mean, it's nice to have some offense.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice
it's
to have
not
a little
bad.
extra offense.
And they're pretty good spells. Ray of Frost is good. Lowers movement speed.
Yep,
10
movement
feet
speed.
Yep.
Starting at 1st level, you get Winter's Bane. From 1st level onward, you have resistance to cold damage, and your melee weapon attacks deal an additional 1d4 cold damage.
Not just one time. Not one attack. All melee attacks deal an additional D4 cold damage.
Yep. It's not limited per turn to a number per turn. It's just deals it. That's pretty good.
And that's just 1st level.
Yep, that's just, so Channel Divinity. Starting at level 2, as a reaction, you can invoke Glacial Ground. Doing so empowers your movement and transforms the surface you travel over. Any movement you take freezes the ground and leaves an icy frost underfoot until the end of your next turn. Glacial Ground is difficult terrain. There it is. Each time an enemy enters a space affected by Glacial Ground, they take 1d4 cold damage. That's cool.
Moving.
Enemies also take another 1d4 cold damage if they start or end their turn on Glacial Ground. Okay. And it ends on your next turn. Okay.
It ends, so it doesn't last forever.
Right.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so if you take, I see what you're saying. If you take the sand dune druid,
So if you multi-class Circle of Sand,
where you get that extra surfing movement speed,
difficult terrain
and
is
this
everywhere.
freezes. Yeah.
You create your own skating rink to and from your plant grove.
Yeah.
If you
do.
want to.
And you just deal in a bunch of damage to the enemies. Well, not a bunch of damage, just 2d4 cold damage. Basically, it ends at the end of the next turn. So
it's mobility.
Yeah.
You know, you throw a mobile feat on there, throw a little monk. You don't have to multi-class every time, but
yeah,
you know,
all right.
There are some things you can do here where you can essentially just have free movement. You can create a terrain that you are comfortable in, do a little damage. If you want to be a support, that gives you damage and mobile support. If you want to do a damage dealer, gives you mobile damage, extra damage. I think
that's pretty cool.
For me, when I saw this and thought about the Circle of Sand, I was like, okay, Hunter's gonna be very upset with me.
I wouldn't say very upset because, like I said, I mean,
it's not broken.
It's not broken. I mean, you think about it, flying creatures aren't going to be affected. Creatures that have any kind of high ground or low ground aren't going to be affected. They have to be on the same area in which you're in, and also you have to be able to get to them.
Yeah, but the way that you say that's very spiteful.
A little bit.
He's like, yeah, but flying creatures.
Flying creatures. That's literally my.
But flying creatures.
Flying creatures is my only retort. That's all I've got. That is it. I can throw a dragon at you, and
And
that's
it would be the only thing we would deal with. Yeah, I know.
So moving on. Frozen Pilgrimage from 6th level. Dealing cold damage to an enemy reduces their movement speed by 10 feet until the start of the next turn.
Attacking them, touching them.
This can stack up to 3 times per enemy. Ooh, that's
30.
cool. So you can just kind of like freeze them in place.
Why I said monk before is that, this will kind of apply to a multi-damage hitting build.
Boreal Endurance. At 8th level, you gain the ability to extend your divine preservation to nearby allies. As an action, you can grant allies within a 10-foot radius centered on you resistance to cold damage and bludgeoning damage and 1d8 temporary hit points. You can use this ability once, and the effects are dispelled if you are knocked prone or unconscious. That's an interesting addendum. I guess it's
Knocked off your feet on your own ice.
Yeah.
I guess it's pretty embarrassing. For a Tundra cleric.
Yeah, the shame. The shame makes you
it
drop
probably
it.
hurts so bad. You're like, give me those hit points back, guys.
Yeah. What is the other cleric ability? You guys used it in the gauntlet that grants all the temporary hit points.
Oh, you talking about a Twilight Cleric?
Yeah, the
Twilight Cleric, the Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Yeah.
You can do it at the end of every turn for as long as he has it for 10 minutes.
Yeah. See, that's broken to me.
That's broken.
This is not that bad. This I can
broken,
live with.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. It's broken. You know it's broken because he used it
3 times.
Yeah.
One through Bethany.
All right. So moving on to our 4th that you have picked out.
What is it?
The Monk of Pain. The Pain Monk.
Yeah, see? Okay.
Now we're getting into some melee stuff.
Yeah, see, it's funny that I actually picked a lot of spellcasters, because typically I like martial characters.
You usually do martial characters.
I hate spells. You gotta have components. Is it somatic? Is it verbal? Is it someone gonna yell at you for the way you're using it?
Yeah, but according to your list here that I've looked at, like this is almost all spellcasters. It's a lot of spellcasters.
Don't look at that.
Monks that study the way of pain are usually treacherous individuals that have chosen to direct their stamina and power into controlling, undermining, or subjugating others. They have mastered the art of debilitating their targets, causing pain and discomfort whilst not fully destroying them.
Not a monk.
I wouldn't call it a monk.
I wouldn't call it a monk.
I'd call it a torturer.
And that's why I love it. It's backwards. It's the way of the pain monk. He's treacherous. What is it? He loves to undermine and subjugate others. I love it.
Great for an evil campaign.
Great for an evil campaign. He's great for his team.
Sure.
You'll see. He hurts himself too.
Okay.
As you'll see.
Blood Key. When you choose this tradition at 3rd level, you can use your key to mimic the effects of certain spells. As an action, you can spend 2 key points to cast a Vampiric Touch, Speak with Dead, or True Strike without providing material components. As a bonus action, you regain a key point at the cost of 1d6, d8, d10, or d12 hit points. Damage taken scales with your monastic tradition feature.
So you get your key point back, but you lose a little bit of health.
Yeah.
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah, especially at early levels.
And there is no monk. We want the monk to have a key point replenish.
Right.
Giving a replenish to the monk makes it broken. Anytime we give a replenish to the monk, this feels like you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Just because unless you have a healer who's just spinning spells to heal you all the time, which they're not going to, and they're going to hate you to freaking do that all the time. Like, stop hurting yourself. And you're like over there torturing yourself and looking at them and be like, heal me. Heal me.
You're looking to piss off your healer.
You're treacherous. You're controlling, undermining, and subjugating others. You're going to hurt yourself to do it.
Kili Ma. At 6th level, you gain access to a unique key feature. You can spend 2 key points to perform Kili Ma, empowering your martial arts. These empowered attacks deal additional necrotic damage equal to your unarmed strike. Additionally, attacks made with Kili Ma score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. If you, that's nasty.
A 10%
If
chance.
you reduce a creature to 0 hit points from the attack, you regain a key point, and the creature automatically fails a death saving throw. All right.
And it's called Kili Ma. What? What does that mean? It sounds awesome.
I think it's a shout out to to an old movie that I'm not going to reference just yet. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. But
and it's a 19 or 20 crit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know how much that 19 hurts.
Yeah, 19 or 20 crit is really powerful. Plus, it's essentially a double crit. It basically gives you the feature of a brute, because everything you're doing is double damage, and the secondary damage is necrotic. So when you crit, it's quadruple damage.
And you're stealing your own health to heal it back, torturing your healer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think it's wonderful, and it only gets worse from there. Because anytime I see a table in this freaking book, it is awesome. And we have a table down here.
We have a table down here.
Yes, and it's kind of a little bit like...
It's called the maiming table. So, by 11th level, when you use Stunning Strike or score a critical hit, you can use your bonus action to maim your enemies. After a successful melee attack, maiming can take many forms. Maiming effects last until the target is healed or takes a long rest. A target can suffer from 2 maims at any one time. If the maimings are the same, the effect is stronger, as outlined below. All right.
Isn't that awesome? Stacking maims, worsening effects.
So we're not gonna go over this table just yet. We're not gonna spoil that for anybody.
You can say
we'll talk
the
about
names.
Yeah, we'll say the names. We'll say the names.
The names.
We'll say the names. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's
How
interested
about we
in
go
pursuing
through
this
one
book.
and say the names of the others?
Okay, sure.
Number 1. I love it. It's perfect for the monk.
Crippled Hands.
Use my strong hand.
So, Crippled Hands, on 1 maiming, the target has disadvantage on 2-handed weapon attacks. All right? Mm-hmm. With 2 maimings, they are unable to use 2-handed weapons.
You get to pick.
Yeah, you get to pick. You don't have to roll it.
That's right.
You don't get to pick. But I'm saying that one is situational, so you have to be fighting against a creature that's using a 2-handed weapon. But if you are, then that makes them drop their weapon, essentially. So moving on to the other 3. So that's the first one. We're not going to go into detail on the rest because we don't want to spoil anything.
No.
But the target, the other ones are Buckle Legs, Concuss Head, and Curse Heart.
I really like Buckle Legs because I love it when things, and I have control over where they go.
That's up here at the top. That's because you enjoyed controlling, undermining, or subjugating your enemies.
You might see this in a campaign soon. Yeah.
This sounds like something you would play.
Yeah, kind of tried to do it with one of them already.
Moving on to our final.
It's another druid!
Yeah, moving on to our 5th and final. It is another druid. You have chosen the Druid Circle of the Reef. Ray, cool. Yeah, Ray and Son. These are twin gods.
These are twin gods of the coast.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Which is cool, you know?
Followers of the Circle of the Reef are kind and thoughtful souls. Complete opposite of what we were just touching on.
It's a little refreshing, to be honest.
The followers of the Circle of the Reef are kind and thoughtful souls. They often live in small coastal tribes who sustainably live off the boons of the coast by fishing, weaving, and diving for trinkets such as pearls, which they sell to travelers. They prefer the company of the ocean to that of outsiders and seldom travel inland. They spend their time nursing aquatic communities that span miles of reef and beachland, and they are fiercely protective of the environment. Druids of this circle have formed an unbreakable bond with the creatures of the reef that are usually considered defenseless. The tiny creatures of the coast that pepper the rocks and corals of beaches and tide pools are the closest companions of followers of the Circle of the Reef, and see them as shepherds, guardians of those too small to fight for themselves. Protect the little guy.
Yeah, protect the little guy. Mm-hmm. And you will also turn into a little guy. You know, you'll see as we go. But I like it hits on the, save the rainforest, save the reef. Mm-hmm. Like you are a druid, protect your environment.
I like that description too. It is very, not only is it building this kind of community type of background for your character, but it gives you a sense of purpose as well, which also gives you a great opportunity for character growth, character development, as well as whatever that plot hook is needed to drive your character to becoming an adventurer.
Yeah, it's definitely someone that you could take a hold of their kind and thoughtful soul and twist it and use it against them. Yeah.
That's not
what he said.
I meant.
No, he didn't say it.
So, the Marine Wild Shape. When you choose this circle at 2nd level, you gain the ability to wild shape into coastal or aquatic creatures that are sized small and tiny without consuming a wild shape slot. I like the limitations there because it's a free wild shape, but you gotta be itty bitty.
But it also might be nice for itty bitty little cracks.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that's stealthy missions. Yeah.
This takes a bonus action and can. Oh, it takes a bonus action too.
Oh, it's kind of like a. Was that the moon?
Yeah, Circle of the Moon. Yeah.
It's the only one that can bonus action wild shape? Mm-hmm. Now there's 2.
So I think as far as I'm aware, it's the
That's
only
right.
one.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
So I know there are other ones that you can use abilities as bonus actions that cost wild shapes, but not a wild shape. Yeah. At least not that I'm familiar with. So please don't tear us apart on that. I have not been a player in a long time. This takes a bonus action that can only be done in water at least 1 feet deep. So if you carry a bucket, you're fine.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. 'Cause I knew there'd be a problem here, but a water-filled pail.
Marine wild shape includes crabs, octopus, quippers, poison snakes, lizards, seahorse, and fish. More at DM's discretion, which I like. I mean, these are all really tiny creatures, so it's not going to be too broken. You're not going to be a giant octopus. You're not going to be a giant crab. You're going to be something very small. This is great for stealth missions.
I'm going octopus, to be honest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray and hope that someone maybe took the chef feed or maybe like decides that they want to be a chef in our group and they want to like feed us treats or I don't know. And maybe they do a little sushi. And they use that to like, this is my octopus. And that's how we get in.
That went so far
Yeah,
out of where I thought it was going.
Yeah,
that did not go anywhere where I expected it to go.
Way of the Pain Monk.
I literally thought you were about to say that you were gonna give someone your arms, like let them chop off your arms.
They grow back. As
Okay.
an octopus, they grow back.
Let's move on.
For a
Coral
free
Shield. Coral Shield. Starting at 2nd level, a shoal of 1d8 magical tiny aquatic creatures swim and shimmer around you. Each creature grants you 1 temporary hit point. Roll a d8 after every long rest to replenish your Coral Shield. Temporary hit points granted by Coral Shields are doubled if the long rest that recharges is taken next to water. That's really cool. What I love about this is they gave the illustrator, Sarsen Games did the illustration here, and it kind of shows how that works. It just kind of swirls around you. Very back to the Last Airbender type of stuff.
Yeah, it feels like a waterbender. And
Yep.
you are waterbending an ecosystem
around
you.
Yep.
You are the reef.
You're waterbending a coldfish
You are the
goldfish pond around you.
circle of the reef, and it feels so. It just looks good.
Carrying around your own private, personal koi pond with you everywhere you go.
So you can get a double coral shield just by having a pail of bucket.
Yep.
Yeah, just don't forget, because he will make you pay for it if you use it. Did you remember that bucket? No, then you don't have it.
He's been playing with me for too long.
It's fair. No, it's fair. It's fair. You shouldn't forget your bucket of water.
At 6th level, Marine Wild Shape now includes medium-sized coastal creatures, including giant crabs, dolphins, reef sharks, seals, and more at the DM's discretion.
Upgrade.
Yep, it's really cool too because I mean these, especially at 6th level, because these creatures are not super powerful, but they're powerful enough that they're going to give you a bit of a bonus in combat. Giant crabs, for instance, are really good in combat.
You have a bard and a circle of the reef who can turn to a seal, and you have a little show that you put on. You know?
I didn't think about that.
Like a little ball and a. I'm just saying, this one's fantastic and it's free. It's free. That's what lets us do it because I think druids don't get the wild shape enough.
Here's what I love about this one in particular. This is the one that Mitchell he has no interest in power gaming. This is all for roleplay.
Yeah.
This is all for roleplay.
I surprised him somehow.
You did. This is all for roleplay. Like everything you pitched me now has been for roleplay, not mechanics' sake.
I want to experience what it's like to grow as this marine person because there's not saying that all the other subclasses or whatever, but a lot of these feel like I can see the growth within it, not just getting an ability. You know?
Yeah, it's character growth. Like we talked about. I mean, it is
And
your
the
character
abilities that you're
growing
getting.
and getting better.
And not maybe all of them, but there are some, and a lot of them actually do, but a lot of them feel like character growth within your abilities.
Yeah, it's just very thematic the way they've done it, and I really appreciate that. I love anything that's thematic and tells a story for your character.
Free wild shape.
Yeah, the free wild shape's really cool.
What?
I mean, as long as you got water, you got to keep your bucket of water.
Okay. You gotta have a bucket of water, and you got to the parentheses where it says more at DM's discretion, you gotta twist that arm.
Why do you have to say like twist that arm?
Okay, you gotta rub that back. You gotta...
Let's move on. Swell and Scorch. At 10th level, you can add 1d8 cold or fire damage to your successful spell attacks as a reaction. You can do this a number of times per day equal to your proficiency modifier. Additionally, when an ally scores a critical hit against an enemy within 10 feet of you, the enemy suffers an additional 1d8 cold damage. Cold damage dealt in this way replenishes your coiled shield. You can do this a number of times per day equal to your proficiency modifier. That's cool.
10th level.
That's pretty cool.
It feels good. You're doing damage. You get 10 hit points. You can turn into a little octopus. It's so good. You don't lose your fun and cake and ice cream.
So that's your top 5.
That's my top 5.
That's your top 5.
Whether it's for role play, whether it's for I love how much, not whether this game breaks the game, but I love the way that this looks, sounds, and feels as far as optimization. And there are some multi-classing things that you could do with PHB on top of this, which you would give it a little bit, more, but alone these things don't need a thing.
They're really cool.
They're really cool. I wouldn't want to move out of... Okay, I might want to put Sand Druid and Tundra Cleric, but it'd be really difficult because you're losing a lot of fun in those later levels.
Yeah.
A lot of these up to 10th level are broken as far as thematic and...
He said it, not me. He said broken, not me.
Broken in the sense of, this is so much fun. Broken fun. Broken fun. Broken fun.
Broken fun.
Broken damage.
All right. So the fun thing about this book too is not only does it have great subclasses for players, but there's also gods, goddesses. There's their avatars that you can use as Dungeon Master, as well as biomes and unique features for role playing and storytelling moments as a Dungeon Master as well. So it's not just for players. So guys, don't sleep on it. Oracles of Aughra by Sarsen Games. We're gonna put a link down in the information below. So go click on it and check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this and you want to check out some more content like it. We'll probably be bringing back some more subclass showcase later. So yeah, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it, guys.
Don't tempt me.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again, and until next time, we love you all. Good night.
Good night.